Since we're thinking of moving out of California, I wanted to see if we would like living in the middle of nowhere. I don't know if it's because of all the new mandates, but people have been pretty mean and miserable here in LA. I have literally been yelled at on multiple occasions for absolutely no reason while shopping at the grocery store. So we packed our bags and yeeted all the way to Joshua Tree for some seclusion and to get away from city life. I will be judging it based on cost of living, the environment that we're living in, and the activities that are available to us. Let's start with cost of living. Joshua Tree is home to Joshua Tree National Park, land of where all the wealthy LA hipsters come out for Coachella, and all that spirituality mumbo-jumbo bullshit. As much as I make fun of it, this is actually one of the biggest reasons why I decided to go out to Joshua Tree. Investing in real estate is a big goal of mine in order to diversify my passive income. When I was looking at Airbnb, most days were at least $200 or more, even for something like a tent or Airstream for glamping. And most of them were 80 to 100% booked. That's easily at least $4,800 of passive income every single month. So I looked on Zillow and the average 2-bedroom, 1-bath house is about $500,000 and a plot of land is about $50,000. That means after expenses, most people are making a lot of money on Airbnb by renting out their tiny home or tent or yurt in Joshua Tree, which is crazy. But just because it looks like a great investment from the outside doesn't mean I truly understand anything about it. So I wanted to go and experience one of these unique stays for myself. Because truth be told, I don't really know why people go out to the middle of the desert to get away from it all. I don't really get the appeal. Everything changed when we finally arrived. I got it. There is something about the desert that is so freeing. Maybe it's because you are completely alone out here and you can do whatever you want. Make as much noise as you want. Other than the sound of the wind, it is so quiet. You can finally hear your own thoughts for once. If you've never done it before, I recommend you do it at least once in your life to experience what true freedom feels like. Also been kind of keeping a secret from you guys. One of the biggest reasons we came out here is to create music and art. I don't know if people who aren't artists would even understand this, but we kind of like seclusion occasionally. We need inspiration, and you don't really get that being stuck inside all day long for 2 years straight. And at the same time, I crave a place where I can be free from distraction so I can create all day long. And the Dome House Airbnb that we stayed at ended up being the perfect place for that. We drove on an unpaved road just to get there, and there didn't seem to be all that many people around us for miles. We could make as much noise as we wanted and we wouldn't disturb anyone. Really. When we arrived on the property, it felt like we were stepping into a completely different planet or something, straight out of a movie. The interior was decorated in perfect desert fashion, lots of rocks, lots of tarot cards, and funky hipster shit. I mean, come on. How else do I explain it? There was a wood-burning stove for when it gets really cold during the wintertime. The whole dome had this open concept living situation, so it was roomy enough for 4 people to live and stay in. The kitchen was stocked with everything we could have possibly needed for our stay. It was pretty nice that it had a small desk if you needed to work a little bit, and a pull-out couch, I believe, if you wanted to sleep extra people. The hanging chair was a neat and unique touch to the place. It added a really cool, young vibe to the place. There's even a really cozy loft area where you can play board games with your friends or even sleep up there if you wanted to. The bedroom came with an awesome telescope that you can stargaze with and a king-size bed. Outside, you have a barbecue and some seats that you can lay in to stare up at the night sky, which we definitely did. We saw the Little Dipper. This dome is located in the perfect position where you can see basically all the constellations. Because this place is dome-shaped, there were so many windows and skylights in the place that let the beautiful desert light filter in all day long. We absolutely loved staying here. It really somehow let the creativity flow. There's something about being out in the desert desert completely alone with no TV. There was Wi-Fi, but you know, you don't really go out to the desert to be on your phone or on TV all day long anyways.
I feel like Adam and Eve.
We found these in the Airbnb and Vincent put it on, and then you convinced me to put it on. I have become full hippie. Vincent is nude under.
I am nude under. That is how you wear this.
Wear this? What is supposed to wear under this? Nothing.
Oh. This is some good living. Too bad you're in the office doing work. Yeah, especially if who's at Disney. You're forced to go back to work. And I'm working remotely. This is what it looks like to work remotely. You jealous mother.
Oh my god. We went to town and created music all day long into the wee hours of the morning. Now let's talk about the activities. In the Leaving California for Texas video, I talked about how we wanted a slower pace of life. Since this is still California, there were still mask mandates, except no one was really following it, except for maybe the staff at restaurants and stuff. It's also kind of silly to even try because there is so much space, everyone is so spread out, it's just a little bit ridiculous. I must social distance. Where are the people to social distance from? This makes no sense. And how do you even enforce that at that point? Because I don't even know where the nearest police station is. But because of that, I felt that people were generally nicer and chiller out in Joshua Tree, especially compared to the stressed out environment that I just left from. As for things to do, we went hiking at the national park and it was really cool. It's so picturesque, so quiet, and surprisingly not that hot because it is now the fall. There were so many different hiking trails to pick from. If you're an outdoorsy person, it's definitely a cool place to check out. We also visited Pioneer Town, which is basically a place where people have turned into a Wild West Hollywood set. It's basically one unpaved street with a few buildings that are really cool to film. Lots of different movies were shot here, some very old and some pretty decent, like 7 Psychopaths.
This is Billy Bibbins. Not Billy Gibbons, brother of Billy Gibbons.
Looks just like him.
Looks just like him. And this is Billy Ribbons. Nice to meet you, Billy.
They got me. I said one too many things about the CCP, and you know what? I regret nothing. It's worth it. For food, we visited the Country Kitchen and Crossroads Cafe. Both diners are very delicious. If you end up going to Crossroads, I recommend getting their banana bread. It is one of the best banana breads I have ever eaten. I wish I could eat that banana bread every single day and turn into Miss Pac-Man. Generally though, there's really nothing much to do here in this town, which is kind of the point of coming here. It's a town full of a bunch of hippies who like music and tarot cards and anything else that expands the mind. So do I want to live out in the middle of nowhere? No, I don't. It's a great place to hang out over a weekend or something, but I would definitely not live here full time. I can see that if you're the type of person that would like to live out here, you would probably need some protection because you really are out there alone. Who knows what's out there? As much as I loved secluding myself for a weekend, it can be a little bit freaky. Nothing is scarier than hearing voices or strange noises out in the middle of the night when you should be completely alone. That is some creepy Shining shit right there.
Here's Johnny!
No thank you. So I'll probably be looking for something somewhere in between middle of nowhere and big city life. Something like suburbia, but not in California because it is way too expensive, but close enough to the city where I feel a little bit safer, like some crazy person won't come out of the darkness to murder me. Though I definitely do want to own a vacation home because these people out here are making bank on these properties. What place do you think I should visit next? Let me know in the comments down below.
Because I'm a city bloke, I've never seen stars because of the light pollution. I got to see the stars, and when I put my hands up in the air, I feel like I'm flying.